First step is to create a front and side template for your tool. For this demo, we're tracing an already existing tool for reference. Once you have your template, you can pick out your piece of wood. You want a piece of solid hard wood, not a layered plywood. Try stopping by a local wood shop and asking if they have any scraps. When you're picking out the wood, notice the direction of the lines in the wood. This is called grain. Generally, you want the object you're making to follow along the direction of the grain. This creates a much stronger object. If you make your tool against the grain, it can break very easily. Next, take the measurements of your template and transfer them onto your wooden block. Now you are ready to cut. When cutting wood, always wear eye protection and make sure your wood is clamped nice and tight. You can also use a handsaw for this part, or ask a friend who has experience with power tools. After you have your rectangular block cut out, trace your template onto all 4 sides of your block. I suggest coloring in the parts you will be sanding away. This makes it easier to visualize. It's time for the fun part. Here you can see 3 different grits of sandpaper. The lower the number, the rougher the sandpaper. You want to begin sanding with the lowest grit you can find. Here I'm using 60. Tape one piece of sandpaper to a flat surface or a block and another to a round surface or a tube. This way you can sand both convex and concave curves of your tool. Choose one view to begin with. Here I start with the side view. Start sanding curve by curve until you have reached your desired outline. During this process, you can try different tools like knives or chisels to get rid of more wood faster. Just make sure whatever tool you use, you know how to use it. By the time you have sanded to your outline, your front and back views have been sanded away. Redraw these onto your block and continue sanding. Stick with it, you are making great progress. Protect your lungs by wearing a mask. Here I am showing you what not to do by not wearing a mask. Once you have reached this point, it is time to shape the details of your tool. Think of which parts you want to be sharp and which parts you want to be curved. And finally, if you are satisfied by the shape of your tool, sand the whole tool again, each time using a higher grit sandpaper. After 60, I jump to 100, 150, and then 220. After sanding to 220, your tool is smooth enough to begin with the finishing process.
I found this old linseed oil that I'm going to use for finishing.
You want to saturate your tool with oil so it gets deep into the wood grain. After the tool is saturated, let it sit at least a few hours to dry. After it dries completely, lightly sand the entire tool again with a very fine sandpaper. Then you repeat the oiling process again and again until you are satisfied with the feel of your tool. After you are done oiling, you can even wax your tool to further protect it from water.